Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover up to 20 titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and up to 20 more from DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order by site, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take your potions to the next level in your game. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs. Also, our book Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class, and much more. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. This week's episode focuses on titles released between December 24th and the 30th of 2021. We've got all kinds of 5th edition content, some OSR, and even some Mörk Borg this week, including classes, spells, items, and modules, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end so you don't miss a title. First up, we have 250 best magic items, Curios, Oddities, and Trinkets from MageGate. It's for 5th edition, and as part of a series, we've covered a few of the other ones where they had books related to specific classes, where it was 250 best for clerics, monks, and paladins, you can see here, and bards, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards is another one. Fighters, rogues, looks like. So quite a few books, and this one happens to be 84 pages, and it says discover 250 magic items for 5th edition, items that add spice to low and mid-level play, items that let you change spell damage type, items that unlock bonus powers based on class, dozens of magical books to stock your shelves, an easy inventory for magic shops, guilds, etc. So, and again, here's a list of all the ones in the series, which are linked, so you can check those out if you want. So let's take a look inside. So you've got 15 pages that you can see here. So you've got kind of an intro, where to put the items, and for players, for everyone, and then you get into the new item types. So let's read a little bit about that, and then they've got some adventure hooks, and then some of the items down here. So we'll read a little bit about the new item types, and then we'll read on at least one of the items. It says there are 3 types of common magic items presented in this book: Curios, Oddities, and Trinkets. Curios and Oddities are always magical, while only some trinkets are. For that reason, and the fact that trinkets are only given to new characters, we've separated the trinkets out into their own chapter. It says, why create whole new categories of magic items? Because we feel the game needs more diverse magic items, but specifically fun, weird, and flavorful ones with interesting mechanics, especially items geared toward low levels where not many options exist. So, and they want to inspire players and GMs and allow players to be the character archetype they want without needing to rewrite the core rules or come up with new feats, classes, or subclasses, and for the GM to easily populate the game world with tons of fun new items. So worthy goals, of course. And still getting used to this horrible preview system here, where you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to get to read everything. So it's Curios are practical, useful, and desirable items, with one drawback: they are powered by your life force energy, which allows them to be created faster, cheaper, and easier than other types of magic items. Using their power typically inflicts 1 level of exhaustion, which may be reduced or eliminated if you choose to attune to the item. So interesting. I like that. They've created kind of this new mechanic, new type of item. It says oddities are weird items that do weird things and are what most commoners think of when they think of magic items. They are most likely the result of failed or unstable experiments or trickster gods messing with mortals, or else the brainchild of mad cleric or wizard. Some do amazing things, far more than a cantrip, but there may be a price to pay, perhaps a curse. So, and then trinkets may be near worthless to anyone who does not share your deep personal connection with them. So they've divided these sort of lower level magic items into 3 types, which is cool. They've got some adventure hooks. Let's see if we can get to one of the items to look at here. So they've got Curios and Oddities in this section. And looks like a few of those. Bane against bards, Bane against clerics. All kinds of stuff. So you get to see quite a few items in here. So let's read about the Book of False Life. It's a curio. It's common, does not require attunement. This leather-bound book details how to bring the dead back to a semblance of false life. It is inked in the blood of the undead. It radiates necromancy magic. If you spend a short rest reading and contemplating this book, you can animate a single tiny to medium-sized skeleton or zombie servant within 5 feet as a 10-minute ritual. The ritual can only be conducted at night, in dim light or darkness, or anytime while underground. Skeletons and zombies created in this way are exactly as described in the monster manual, except only have 1 hit point and they cannot attack. Each time you use this item's power, you suffer 1 level of exhaustion. You can only create and control 1 skeleton or zombie at a time with this book. Special, if you choose to attune to this item, you no longer suffer exhaustion from using it the first time each day. And another special, if you are attuned an undead or a cleric of god of death or undeath, a necromancer, a sorcerer with necromantic or shadow sorcerer's origin, or a warlock of a patron of death or undeath, you do not suffer exhaustion when you use this item's power. In addition, you can create and control a number of skeletons and zombies with this book equal to your proficiency bonus. Okay, so the zombies aren't that powerful, so that's appropriate because it's just a curio. And yeah, so it's an interesting, flavorful item, and they've got all kinds of stuff in here, and you can read all about these if you click the link in the video description and come over here and click on the preview, little preview tab down here. But tons of items as usual. I mean, there's 250, and there's new types, so that's exciting. So why not click that link in the video description for 250 best magic items and give it a look. Next, we have Adventures in the Mystic Blue Mountains and Surrounding Realms, a campaign for beginning role-playing adventures by Chris Hansen. And it is for D&D. Let's see if it says what version in the description. I'm not seeing what version. It just says D&D, so maybe we'll be able to tell when we look at the preview. All right, it says, this compendium contains 4 beginning level adventures for players new to role-playing or for those more experienced players searching for an engaging scenario requiring little prep. These campaigns are designed for 1st through 4th level characters and use the rules and universe established in D&D. Each of the campaigns provided is ready to deploy, including background information, NPC and monster stats, maps, and other suggestions for the game master. They can be run in succession as part of a larger adventure or as standalone campaigns. The Mystic Blue Mountain Mines. This campaign begins in the Blue Mountains, where a quasi-religious sect called the Mystic Monks of the Order of 𝙤𝙤 are mining magic blue crystals. After being shanghaied from the 𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙀 Inn in the small village of Pisspot and put to work in the mines, the characters will have to work together to escape. So that's just one description, and they have descriptions for all of them here. All right, so let's look inside. So you got your table of contents, you've got background, prison life, all this stuff, room descriptions for this first adventure. So it looks like they may have a table of contents for each adventure. And then here's that Mystic Mines stuff with characters down here. You've got the NPCs and their stat blocks. Cool. So let's read a little bit about, let's read just a little bit of the flavor text here. We'll have to zoom in, which I have to scroll up to do. And then I have to scroll down to go this way. So it's really unfortunate, this preview system they've got, because these boxes should be framing it, and then everything else should scroll up and down in between, so we can get to this stuff more quickly. I was the leader of a mercenary warband that was retreating from a lost battle with my few remaining soldiers. We were commiserating over a few pints of grog at the 𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙀 Inn, and those cowardly cursed townsfolk drugged us and sold us as slaves. My crew and I broke up here. I am the last surviving member. This is the Blue Mountain Mine. It is run by the mystic monks of the Order of 𝙤𝙤. They claim to be priests of a religious sect, but they are really a band of small-time thieves and escaped criminals that found these ancient dwarven ruins and the power of the blue crystals mined in the caves below. 𝙤𝙤 is their self-proclaimed leader and a mean and vicious little twerp, but he is powerful enough to keep the rest of the monks afraid of him. The blue crystals can channel magic energy when the right preparations are made. These crystals store energy and can be used to aid magical powers. The monks have been taught a few tricks on how to use them to stun the prisoners. Zathor sells the crystals to powerful magic users of the Wizards Guild in nearby cities. So, little intro, get a lot of history and background, exposition on the mine and Zathor and everything going on. So, and that's just the beginning when you first meet one of the other prisoners. And this preview gives you quite a bit of that first adventure, so you can really read through, see if it's going to work for you, something that you want to have at your table. But that's just one of 4. They've got several, and it's $12.99 for the book. So look for Adventures in the Mystic Blue Mountains and Surrounding Realms in the links below, and give it a click. Next, we've got Boneheart Crusaders, which is for Mörk Borg, and it's by Christian Eichhorn. It's 61 pages and $14.95. And it says Boneheart Crusaders is a Mörk Borg adventure with heeding the call of 𝙁𝙗𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙯 the Warhawk. A host assembled. Thousands of starving soldiers took up a sword, flail, cross, and shield. Fight for life, fight to the death. And there's a little verse here with some fun artwork, so you can see kind of some of the interiors. Look at these cool maps. Christian always does really beautiful art because Christian is pretty much the author and artist, which I think is really cool. And there's sometimes some additional artists. Let's take a look inside. Even the table of contents in Christian's books is fun. So you've got Murder Grandpa up here, and Coffin Gev or Sev, it looks like, or no, Coffin Head 𝙬𝙤. Yeah, Lord Yeti, Jasper Crane, all kinds of fun stuff. And then, as you can see, the fun layouts continue. So there's, it says a Crusader receives the following paid by the company coffers. 1, a branding or a tattoo of a hawk in flight. 2, a wood crucifix with the Crusader's name engraved in the cross. Or 3, a gas mask. So, fun little table. And then you've got Into the Vapor. You lay out the Valley of the Unfortunate Undead using various tiles, randomize the process, or determine the size and makeup beforehand. So then you've got tiles to place to build this valley. Just so much fun artwork. And then here's the war camp. The war camp is the axis around which this crusade turns. The characters start here and must return here often. These are the camp's functions. So then you've got the list of all the functions. So in the company store, the characters can sell reclaimed treasure and buy supplies. Special items on sale include a gas mask and a masked horse. So you need gas masks for this area. That's creepy. You got Gorge, Mire. So each of the tiles is kind of described here. That's fun. I love all these little tiles. It's always fun to deal with that, especially when you can randomize it and you know, every game is going to be different because you're placing different tiles. So you got the nerve center. It says it reeks of oxidized iron. The nerve center distributes incoming creatures and materials. Everybody and everything goes through here. Cool. Yeah, so you get your entrance. Wow, and you wind around. Then you end up in here, and then the exit's actually back this way. And here's the heart. It says the characters always traverse the heart when traveling anywhere. When passing through the heart, the characters must successfully test DR9 strength or take 1 damage. Each character can make 1 attack. Destroying the heart stops the powerful current of the blood flow. Swimming upstream becomes possible. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, I like this. Really flavorful as usual. Beautiful art. And looks like a lot of fun. And Mörk Borg is just so cool. So, check it out under Boneheart Crusaders in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Cloak Coin. It's $20 for, we don't know how many pages because it says 0. So if you're watching Red Turban Press, you're going to want to update that to give us a page count, because I know there's pages in here because I've already opened the preview and I saw some. It says Cloak Coin is a heroic fantasy campaign setting for 5th edition, immersing players in a world of adventure and intrigue, fight for or against powerful merchant companies, race to explore ancient ruins and deadly dungeons, be heroes. This book contains background information on the various races and cultures of the world of Aerith. And inside you'll find new player backgrounds, character options, monsters, and optional rules to bring the world to life. Very fun. And this cover is really nice. I like this artwork. Let's take a look inside. So you get to see 6 pages. So they have at least 6, but I'm guessing there's a lot more. And it looks lovely, the layout and the art. They've got looks like little banners for each of the regions or houses, I guess. So let's read a little bit about the world here. We have to scroll down just to get over here. It says, generations have passed since the severing, a mage-wrought catastrophe that reshaped the face of Aeroth, when the arcane and divine threads that connected it to the planes and the gods were broken. Though most people maintain faith, the gods have long been unreachable. There are those who would attempt to undo the severing, to reweave the threads to the elder gods. Others stand against them, fearing the consequences of such hubris. Except in some urban centers of Santar Peninsula, magic is a distrusted and feared force. Through only a handful of more long-lived people, though only a handful of more long-lived people remember the severing, it is indelibly marked on the soul of every man, woman, and child. It is the history that created the modern age. At best, arcane spellcasters are viewed with caution. In some societies, they are actively hunted. This is in stark contrast to the faith-inspired clerics and witches that provide for their people. The severing destroyed the world's connection with the divine, even though the gods were lost. For most people, the rituals of faith continue to be an important part of daily life. While high elves and sun elves continue to hold faith in the gods of their pantheon, humanity has broadly accepted the tenets of the monotheistic faith of domism. For the vast majority, the old pantheon of human gods is remembered merely in cultural ritual and ruined shrines. Among some people, a distrust in magic and a loss of faith has led them to a more secular existence. So very interesting setup. So it seems like regular magic users like wizards, etc., are kind of shunned, and then you've got these divine associated ones, including witches that are treated differently. So it's got this interesting setup, for conflict already. And let's zoom back out and find another spot to look at. So we've got geography, peoples of the world, and then those houses. So the 6 cities confederacy of the Santar Peninsula is a nation of traders and merchants, so it should be of little surprise that wealth, economic power, and political power are deeply intertwined under various merchant houses. The most powerful merchant houses became chartered houses when the Confederacy's governing body, the Sun Chamber, passed the Corvidian Decree. The decree had been pushed to appease the landed nobility so as to limit the creation of new trading companies, but an unintended cost was increased power in fewer hands. And then you've got Avonal, Domata, Alatris, Ventoris, a bunch of different little houses. So looks pretty fun. It says, let's see, the Nur Trading Company. Let's read about that. The Nur Trading Company, based in Santorum, is led by the great dragon 𝘿𝙤𝙤. Though she does not keep her identity secret, it is also not openly common knowledge. Under her influence, the house maintains strict guidelines for trade and commerce and frequently speaks against the more oppressive legal recommendations put forth by House Domata. So, fun little flavor, and I like the banner they have with the dragon symbol on it. So yeah, it looks like a lot of fun and a very different conflict setting, which I like. I like that conflict sort of driving things. Makes for a lot of story opportunities, and the cover's really nice. So check it out under Cloak and Coin in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got the Compendium of the Absurd from Biscuit 10 RPG, and it's $8.99 for 48 pages for 5th edition. And it says it's got the version 1 of the Abyssal Knight class, 3 subclasses for it, 14 spells, 26 magic items, and a new player race called the Nephilim, and new feats and new lore. So fun. Let's look inside. So you've got optional rules and variants, new weather, such as the anti-magic fog and a fracture storm. And then you got the called shots variant and a new race called the Nephilim down here. So let's see if we can read a little bit about the called shots variant. I like the anti-magic fog too. It says a seemingly ordinary fog that has pale purple energy crackling through it. Nobody truly knows what causes or potentially what might have caused it in the first place, but those that study the arcane warn others of their ilk that one should tread lightly if they find themselves in such a fog, as it has a habit of dulling the arcane while it persists. And then here's all the effects, kind of like regional effects of the anti-magic fog. So very cool. So we're going to scroll over here and look at this called shots variant. So requirements for a called shot: you cannot already be at disadvantage to hit the creature you are attempting the called shot against. The called shot must be used against a body part that the creature has. So you cannot aim for the eyes of a no-eyed creature, in other words. To simplify this, you have 4 spots you can call a shot against: hands, arms, legs, and eyes. You cannot call shots against undead creatures or constructs. It says when you make a called shot, you roll with disadvantage. If you hit your intended mark, you deal 1.5 the damage. The storyteller will roll a D100 and check the table with the corresponding body part hit. And then critical hits can bypass the need to roll the D100 and instead destroys the body part in question. So you've got this little table, and it says so you can roll disadvantage on sight-based checks on a 95% or higher. They are blinded until healed if you're targeting the eyes, and if it's a critical, they're permanently blinded. So, and then it goes through arms, hands, legs, feet, etc. So that's pretty fun. And then looking down here at the Nephilim, you've got born with unlimited potential and gifts of both light and darkness. The Nephilim are both feared and admired. They are almost certainly to be found adventuring, as it is in their nature to always want to learn more, usually about their lineage, as in some, if not most cases, they may never know their parents. The lore behind the Nephilim is a bit shaky, and that's probably on purpose due to the fact that their very existence is seen as an act of blasphemy by both sides of the gates. So fun little race here as well. So lots of stuff going on that looks like it could be useful in your game, and I think you should check it out under Compendium of the Absurd in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Crosshead's animated tokens, which with 15 animated tokens for $4.95, and it's system agnostic, of course, since these are tokens and can be used with any game. So let's take a look at the actual, if I can find, oh, sorry, just need to click here. I'm not used to this new system. So you've got here the little guy, he's moving around on you, and you've got the wizard moving around on you. So I think that's really fun. And I mean, looking at the cover, you can see they've got all kinds of different characters, and 15 of them. So we talked previously about different types of tokens. Some tokens are straight on shots, which kind of conflict with a map that is top down. And then you've got these tokens that are top down. And in this case, you've got top down tokens that are animated. So you can see even a little shadow going on here. So very cool. Crosshead does really good work. I just ordered one of their modules, print on demand. So I'm waiting for the print on demand, but I got the digital, and it's pretty cool. And yeah, you can see just such detail put into this, and I definitely think this would look cool on an animated map, or even a non-animated map. Maybe that's what you have for your animation. So you can use them in Roll20 or Foundry or any of the VTT systems that use animation, because I don't think Fantasy Grounds does, but Roll20 and Foundry do. And there's other ones out there too that I'm sure you can use these with. So, and I just think they're fun to look at even. So check it out under Crosshead's animated tokens in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Borg Core Rules. It's gloomy jazz age struggles against cosmic horror for Mörk Borg by Richard Kelly. And it's $7 for 120 pages. So it's a lot of pages for that $7. It says it's a full conversion hack that adapts Mörk Borg to a jazz age cosmic horror setting. So kind of like Lovecraft or Call of Cthulhu. You get lightly overhauled core rules emphasizing resources and decision making. You get some new D6 classes: Socialite, Crook, Academic, Innocent, Accursed, and Complicit. You get new weapons, stability and social standing systems, a new magic system, and 2 new spell lists. occult artifacts that slowly reveal their secrets as you cling to them, a full bestiary, complete with 9 gods and their terrestrial servants, and a starter scenario. So kind of everything to get going in this sort of Call of Cthulhu style Mörk Borg cosmic horror. And I like that it has pretty much everything. And I would also suspect that with 120 pages of Mörk Borg stuff devoted to the cosmic horror, that there might be some stuff in those 120 pages that could easily port back to the original Mörk Borg. So if you're really, a Mörk Borg fan, this is going to be, I think, a good option for you. So let's look inside. And of course, I got to address Lovecraft's questionable behavior before they start. When I like that they do that right off the bat. And then they've got their table of contents. And it looks like there's a lot of stuff. So you got the bestiary, lots of stuff there. Combat, a whole section on that. And then Jazz Age Horrors. The year is 1920. A new era is poised to dawn. The Great War has ended. The markets are on the rise. A culture of novelty and prosperity is blossoming, with new inventions and popular trends setting the eyes of many on the fast approaching future. And yet all is not well. The world may have shifted, but the fundamental nature of humanity has not changed. The violence of the poor is still condemned, and the violence of the powerful is still enshrined. Industry magnates work their laborers to the bone. Figureheads prey on their obedient flocks. Doctors and scientists receive informal carte blanche to experiment on those in their care. And beneath all this common filth, something worse crawls. We are not alone in the universe. So I like that very moody introduction. And you've got character creation. Looks like it's linked in this, very beautiful layout. The artwork's great so far, so I like it. You got abilities. All this stuff, hit points, carrying capacity, starting gear, social standing, omens, selecting a class, socialite. You see 21 pages. So let's read a little bit about the socialite. It says here, I gotta scroll down to be able to move this over. All right, let's do this. Every night for a week, a songbird set on your windowsill telling you stories in its too human voice. Yeah, this is going to be problematic because I can't scroll over without having to scroll down every time. If you guys are struggling to look at these previews too, remember that there's this little button down here you can click and give feedback. So hopefully, let DriveThru know and they can have their tech folks take a look. Yeah, so unfortunately I can't read much of that because of this. When you have a full width text, it's really hard to read in some cases. So and it's not the author's fault. It's the old system, the old previous system, I could have read that easily, but this new system's really made it difficult. So let me find something else that I can read. So it looks like omens. Says this one I can read clearly, I think. Omens are the vague manifestations of luck, grit, and supervision by higher powers that keep investigators safe when they should be utterly destroyed. Investigators start with 5 omens, plus 1 omen if they have less than 5 max hit points, and plus 1 omen if the sum of their abilities is plus 3 or lower. Using omens, investigators may spend an omen at any time to reroll any one die, deal maximum damage on an attack, reduce incoming damage by d6, or reduce a DR by -4, which I'm guessing is like damage rating. I haven't played Mörk Borg, so I don't know all the terminology. And then recovering omens, all omens are recovered at the end of an investigation. Omens do not recover naturally before then. Cool. So I like that. Fun little mechanic. And the socialite looks cool. And then they've got the crook down here as well. Yeah, I mean, this looks really well made. It's 120 pages of this stuff for $7. So that's a great price for so many pages. And I really think it could be fun for people, that are into Mörk Borg. You might even be able to take some of these mechanics, like those omens. You could probably convert that in some way to D&D if you want. 5th edition, because Mörk Borg is based on OSR, so it is D&D, but it's different. It's not 5th edition. So check it out under Mörk Borg in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have The Death Knight for 5th edition, $2 for 9 pages from the Realm Scribe. And it says the Death Knight is made when a paladin falls before fulfilling their oath and makes a pact with a powerful being to get a second chance, or when a warlock in service of the forces of death swears an oath that gives them power beyond their patron. They are transformed into an undead creature, but left with their own mind and will. They can use the power of their patron to make their very presence spread disease, encase themselves in protective ice, and fill their own servants with the draining power of undeath. This class is for high-level campaigns that allow for multi-classing in order for a character to meet the requirements for this prestige class. It is designed to fuse together the idea of a bound warlock and an oath-sown paladin into a champion of undeath, and requires high charisma and strength levels in both the paladin and warlock classes, and to be at least 10th level before taking a level in this class. Prestige classes are very powerful and meant for high threat campaigns. So this is fun. It's a class, but it's like the old concept of prestige, where you have to be like part of another class and then you dip into it. You don't see a lot of those now because subclasses have become a thing, but I think they still have merit, and it's exciting to see people developing them, because yeah, you could basically multi-class into this. So here is some of the interior. So you get to see a few pages, most of the class itself, and then there's pages on other things. So let me scroll back up and zoom in, and we'll see what we can read about. So at 11th level, you gain the ability to use your pact magic in a new way. At the end of each rest, you can expend a use of a pact slot to gain one of the following auras until the end of your next short rest. And then it has a bunch of different auras here. So you've got the aura of death. The draining power of the incorporeal dead emanates from you. Each creature of your choice within a 10-foot radius takes necrotic damage at the end of each of your turns. In addition, any creature under your direct control that makes an attack while within the aura adds your charisma modifier to their attack and damage rolls. The damage added is necrotic. At 14th level and again at 17th level, the damage creatures under your direct control add to their damage rolls increases by 1d8 necrotic. At 14th level, the damage creatures take from this aura increases by 1d8, and the radius of the aura increases to 20 feet. At 17th level, the damage increases another 1d8, and the radius of the aura increases 30 feet. Cool. And then we'll just read the intro to the Aura of Decay. It says, a rotting aura of death and decay surrounds you. Each creature of your choice within 10 feet radius takes 2d8 poison damage at the end of each of your turns. In addition, each creature of your choice in the area must make a Constitution saving throw or become diseased until the end of your next turn. So you've got variations here that you can pick from to have various auras, and then all kinds of information. But I love that it's built on paladins and warlocks, and is a prestige class, so it's something that you can just kind of flex into as you get to 10th level or higher. And it's only $2 to get this prestige class going at your table. So check it out under Death Knight in the links below and give it a click. Next we've got Everdune, Wrath of the 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙤, I guess is how you say that. It says venture into the wastes in this desert survival adventure supplement. Cool and fun cover on there. $5 for the 19 pages from Mammoth Factory Games. So it says, ambushed and stranded amidst one of the most hostile realms in the known world, the party must struggle to survive and rescue their fellow travelers. Surrounded on all sides by oceans of shifting sand, their fight is not only against the creatures of the desert and their shadowy attackers, but the looming threats of starvation and heat exhaustion. All the while, they are unaware of the true nature of their journey, the true value of their cargo, and why they have invoked the wrath of 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬. So it's got 3 gridded battle maps, VTT tokens, paper minis, print and fold. So that's fun. And then they have a little video on it too that you can watch. So be sure to check that out. And if you like their content, give them a subscription as well. All right, let's take a look inside. So you've got 4 pages that you get to look at out of the 19, which is a good amount here. And let's see what we can read. So they're 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬. Let's read about them. It says the 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙬 are people of elves that settled in the Everdune long ago, diverging from the wider multitudes of elven kind. At a point so distant from now that their beliefs and social mores would be barely recognizable to most other elves. Their existence is a secret known to very few, and they guard that secret with ruthless efficiency. Travelers that encounter the 𝙎𝙤𝙘𝙀 rarely survive, and those that do escape rarely avoid death by exhaustion or exposure. It is in this way that the 𝙎𝙤𝙘𝙀 have remained little more than a ghost story to most. So that's interesting, especially for people that like elves. It'll give you some new elven stuff that can be very different, and it gives you kind of an excuse to make their personality different than what you're used to. All that stuff. So let's read the flavor text for the beginning of the adventure. It says, as the caravan approaches the Everdoon, the remote farmlands and rolling savannas begin to give way to harsh, dry land. Roving beasts of burden and solitary predators become a rarer sight, and any hint of rain is left far behind you. Skeletonized ruins, the tattered remnants of past attempts to colonize these borderlands, dot the landscape. Their bones, a silent testament to the unforgiving nature of the region. As the hours go by, you find yourself passing into a sea of towering dunes that stretch on well beyond the horizon, and all traces of civilization seem to fade far out of reach. Very cool. I like that moody description. Well written. And that's before you get into the adventure, so it just kind of sets the stage, looks fun. You don't often get to have a desert adventure, so I think this could be really cool. So if you're looking for a desert adventure or want to try something new, look for Everdoon in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Globetrotter's Guide to Greenery by Double Proficiency, focused this time on seas and oceans. And we've covered some of their products before. They've got very fun Wayfarers decks. They've also released kind of a related one this week on Underwater Kingdoms, so you can check that out over here too after you've clicked the link in the video description. But this one is 20 pages, and it's system neutral, so it can be used with 5th edition or OSR. And it says, you're walking through the forest. There are trees, oaks, pines, some shrubs. So what is growing over there, GM? So this series is really meant for those players that question what's growing on that spot and this spot and over here, right? So this whole series, Globetrotter's Guide to Greenery, really just helps you fill in those blanks when the players start wanting more visuals and more details on the environment that they're traipsing through. So now they've upgraded in this new issue. They've upgraded to 20 pages, and they've got a new biome, the signature plans, and a handy list of descriptors for all the senses. So I love that. Some people are more auditory or more visual, etc. So having those options really helps that DM connect to the players in the way that they prefer to get information. So I like that. People forget to go just visual all the time, right? And it's not always that way. So let's take a look inside. And they always have fun layouts and art in their works at Double Proficiency. So it starts here with traveling underwater, and then you go down all the animal kingdom, environments, items, just tons of fun stuff. And they've been so generous with this preview because you're getting to see the full book in the preview. So you really have no excuse not to look at this book and consider it, because you can read the whole thing, and I encourage you to check it out. So traveling underwater, it says, so this is what we were just talking about. So for sights, it's got nearby objects seeming bigger and closer than in reality, faraway objects seeming even further away, blurry vision, a bluish-greenish tint to everything, restricted visual range, massive schools of silvery fish swimming in unison, slugs and octopuses climbing atop corals. So those are some things you might see. Now, what about sounds? Sounds coming from everywhere at once, crashing waves above, whales singing, air entering and leaving your lungs, fish snacking on a crunchy coral, lava pooling out from fissures, clicking, scraping, clanking, grunting, whistling, and crunching. And then for smells, we have dry, stale air in your mask, and then the well-worn wetsuit. And then for touch, we've got mounting pressure of the water around you as you dive deeper, changing water temperature, sharp rocks, sticky wetsuit, movement of water on exposed skin, smooth fish scales, burning pain of jellyfish stingers, sharp shark teeth. And then lastly, for taste, you've got salty, slightly fishy water, traces of sulfur and iron, mud by the seafloor. So again, I really appreciate that they're going through all the senses, and you don't have to read all those to your players, but you could give them just one from each of the lists, or just a sight, a sound, and a touch, maybe. It's nice to have those options. And then it goes into detail about the seas and the oceans, the climate and the soil, the anatomy of the biome and the animal kingdom. Here's some of the things you might see, of course. And then you've got environmental threats and challenges, dead man's ropes, eelgrass, 𝙤𝙤𝙘𝙤. So this is the 𝙤𝙤𝙘𝙤. We'll read about that. Small branching algae grow in a belt in the shallow waters near the coast. The striking red color makes them stand out against the rocky seabed, which they have made their home. It's a slow-growing algae with an annual harvest yielding not only nutritious food, but also material for producing jelly-like agar, a vegan substitute for gelatin, and the favorite growth medium in microbiology. Yeah, fun. Lots of information. You've even got phytoplankton, sailor's eyeball, sargassum, and then there's some curios and findings here at the end here. So just a ton of good stuff with beautiful visuals. So if you're looking to liven up your underwater setting, I know there was that book Underwater Campaigns that came out this year that was really popular, so you could use it with that. Or if you just want to create your own underwater stuff, I know we've covered underwater adventures on this series, so if you bought any of those, you could use this to just kind of flesh that out, or even some nautical or pirate adventure, you could pull this stuff into that. So, and then, of course, they have others in the series for the Globetrotter's Guide to Greenery and their Wayfarer's Deck to check out too, so you should take a look in the links below and look for Globetrotter's Guide to Greenery and give it a click. Next, we have Hypergates of the Lost Empire. It's an adventure scenario for 4 to 6 character levels, 3 to 5, under Overlords of Dimension 25, which is OSR based. And we've covered Overlords before on the channel months ago, so it's been a while now, but it seems like a really fun thing. And it's from Geek Rampage and Christian Conkle. And it says it's an adventure scenario designed for Overlords of Dimension 25, an OSR-style science fiction role-playing game inspired by RPGs from the early 90s based on the pulp-era exploits of a man transported to the 25th century. The rules are based upon and similar to those of D&D. Before playing this scenario, the game master and players should become familiar with Overlords, of course. And it's a sequel to The City at the Edge of the Universe, which was the title that we covered previously, but can be played as a standalone. It can also be used with other OSR-style science fiction role-playing games, and it's designed for 4 to 6 player characters at 3rd to 5th level. And let's take a look inside. So you got some fun artwork as usual with these Overlord books. Your introduction and background here. Get to see quite a bit of the book. I mean, look at this fun map. Security perimeter. All right, so let's see, what should we read here? Let's read the background. Now, let's read about the mission, I think. Okay. It says Earth Resistance. The player characters are recruited by Colonel Betty Lang, who will act as their point of contact. Colonel Lang meets them and provides the characters with the scenario background from the previous page. It says gravitic emanations from the core have been detected underneath the ancient ruined city of Liminis, the site of a civilian Hypergate transit terminal. Your mission is to infiltrate the city, find the underground Hypergate transit terminal, recover the Fluxium core, and return it to Dr. Mangrove for the construction of new Hypergates. Unfortunately, Dr. Johnla of Ares Consortium has detected those same emanations, and Consortium security has cordoned off the city. You will have to infiltrate the city on foot and avoid security patrols. So, and there's a lot more to read, but I'm just giving you a taste of the mission. So it sounds fun. They're going to have to get in and out without disturbing things and without getting caught as best they can. May have to fight their way out, who knows. And you got random encounters. I mean, this just looks really fun. So if you've got any kind of sci-fi setting that you want to pull some stuff into, or if you want to try Overlords of Dimension 25, there's really only been 2 books, so it'd be pretty easy to catch up. I mean, and this one's only $3.99, so probably a small investment to get everything going. I'm not sure if the other one is listed here. No, it's not, but I'm sure if you click on Geek Rampage here and see all their titles, it'll probably come up, so you can get the original book as well, City at the Edge of the Universe. And if you're watching Geek Rampage, maybe you can make that a hyperlink as well, so people can be sure to get to that. But yeah, you should be able to find it here if you look for Hypergates of the Lost Empire in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Pass Gazette issue 0, and it's for Level Up, which is the advanced 5th edition system that has been created by Ian Publishing. And they had like a big Kickstarter where they've basically taken all of 5th edition and they've tweaked it, updated it, modernized it a little bit in terms of some of the areas that are controversial. And yeah, I don't know if it's out yet, but they're starting to release content here that you can get, so that's awesome. And it's $9.99 for 40 pages. And I'm guessing this is going to be a series. It says here it's an official monthly magazine, so that's cool. Each month, a digital supplement comes with new rules and resources for your game. So that's great that they've updated 5th edition, but they're going to continue to release pieces to support your use of it. And so it's going to focus this issue on the Artificer class, Lycanthropy rules, Constructed Heritage, and the Jabberwock monster. So the Constructed Heritage, which was like a race, because they've changed, I think, races to heritages, engineered from crafted materials and imbued with a renewable source of energy, it isn't clear exactly how constructed beings gained sentience. Long-standing clockwork temple guardians may have been granted a special boon by the god they served. Artifice and wild magics may have combined in arcane ways to spontaneously birth self-awareness in once lifeless automatons, or a mystical being may have infused a piece of its soul into the heart of a manufactured war machine. No matter the origins, constructs are built for a purpose, and the constructed are products of their original creation to a certain extent. With the gift of life also came a mind and a will of their own. Some constructed hold close to their original purpose, while others rejected outright, choosing to forge their own path forward. Very cool. I like that. It could be a fun little race that is machine-like and a little different, so that you can work that in. And then you've got the Artificer. It says Artificers work in arcano sciences, combining both magic and technology despite all the risks. They are masters of their fields, experimenters, and inventors that push the limits of mortal capability, ensuring that progress marches on. Each represents the knife's edge of understanding, though they are their own isolated towers of knowledge and scientific practices, most doomed to become a mere footnote of failed ideas. Yet more than their individual focuses and methods, it is the Artificer's determination and drive that sets them apart even from their peers. They can fail 1,000 times and die satisfied so long as they successfully unlock a mystery of the universe at least once. So, very fun. And I'd be curious, if you're watching Ian Publishing, maybe you can answer this question. Are you allowing other publishers to like make subclasses for your classes in their books? Is it, because one of the challenges publishers like myself face is that when we choose to publish outside of the DM's Guild, we don't have access to all the classes and things because we have to use the SRD as part of our open gaming license. And so we don't have Artificer because it's not part of the open gaming license. But you have an Artificer now, and I'd be curious if there's a license or a way to make subclasses as a publisher for your Artificer as opposed to necessarily for Wizards of the Coast Artificer. That might give some flexibility to some of the publications outside of the DM's Guild. So yeah, if you're listening, I would love an answer for that for myself, and other creators that watch this series would probably be interested as well. But in any case, it's exciting that you're presenting an updated, different, this is probably got some original stuff to it. It might be similar to the Artificer and Wizards, but I'm guessing you've made some tweaks to keep it different. And then you've also got Lycanthrope synergy feats. So lycanthropes are defined by their ability to transform, while every lycanthrope receives specific traits depending on their animal their curse is related to. Their transformations share some traits. So you've got that. And then you've got the Jabberwock. It's a gangly long-necked dragon native to the fairy realm. Although its appearance is unlikely, even the mightiest heroes must beware the Jabberwock's claws that grab and eyes of flame. Spellcasters in particular fear its burbling speech, a magical sing-song that ruins spells and reduces words to nonsense. Yes, that would be very scary as a caster to encounter that. Well, I'm excited for Level Up. I hope I get to look at the full book at some point on this channel. But anyway, it is here. You can get Pass Gazette right now for $9.99. So check it out in the links in the video description and give it a click. Next, we've got Shot Glass Rounds number 8, Dread Calm, and it is from Laidback DM, and it's for D&D OGL. I'm not sure what edition. We'll look at it in a second. I'm guessing 5th, but we'll look in a second. So it doesn't say that here. If it is 5th, you might want to add that. Yes, it is for 5th edition, and it's a one-shot. And it's basically for DMs that don't like to prep. It's flexible, convenient, supercharged excitement in a compact package that won't have you sitting up for hours doing prep. Each adventure is designed for a 4 to 5 hour game and includes 2 new monsters, 2 new magic items, and a full-size player's map with grid and full-size gridless player map. So this one has undead pirates, vicious dragons, in it. It says a ghostly pirate ship plunders the shipping lanes. Superstitious sailors refuse to go to sea. Now the pirate's lair is found. Only you are brave enough to venture inside. Stay calm, dread calm. Very fun little intro. So yeah, let's take a look inside. So you get to see 4 of the pages. So you got your adventure queue with abbreviations. And then the first page of the adventure. So we'll read a little bit of the flavor text here at the beginning, and I should be able to zoom in because we've got 2 columns here. They say the ghost ship strikes from the fog without warning. They say it is manned by the evil spirits of dead pirates who sailed the sea lanes a century ago. For months now, a hideous phantom warship, wreathed in glowing green mist, has attacked cargo ships. The survivors of these raids are few and far between, but those who manage to live through the terror speak in hushed and fearful tones of confusion, horror, of melting flesh, and lightning striking from nowhere. Superstitious sailors refuse to go to sea. Ocean trade in the region has crawled to a standstill. That is, until a bedraggled and dehydrated halfling rogue washed up on the shore of Crest Island. He was delusional, mumbling about zombies and a blue dragon. After several days of bed rest, he was lucid enough to explain what he had found, drawing a map of the island in question. The port sidewater authorities declared a bounty to find and eliminate the ghost ship and return safety to these waters. Old superstitions die hard, however, and takers have been non-existent. No one wants to lose their flesh or soul to the horrors of that ship. Until now, your party wants the 5,000 gold piece bounty. The halfling has explained the lay of the island. You know where there are 2 entrances to the pirate's lair, a sea cave in the island's bay, and a tunnel not far from the nearby beach. A ship will take you there, and then you can row to shore with a borrowed skiff. Good luck, and remember to stay calm. So that's a fun little flavorful piece of fiction to introduce everything. Yeah, I mean, this just looks a lot of fun. And we were just talking about in one of the previous books we looked at about how it's, describing ocean things and experiences from the senses and stuff. So you could probably get both of these books and, kind of combine it into this nautical pirate fun. And even without that other book, this one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun with this well-written stuff and great content. But I always like to give you tips on combining books so that you can get even more value out of these wonderful third-party creations. So I think this is exciting, and they released actually 3 this week. They have 2 others that are over here from Laidback DM here. So if you like this one, after you click the link in the video description, you might check out the other 2 shot glass rounds which I like the notion that it's really geared towards this is going to be one and done. It's going to be 4 to 5 hours and you're out of there. So I really appreciate that. But look for it under Shot Glass Rounds in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Sumac Berries, which is part of a series called Weird Tales of Swords and Sorcery. And it says, a journey to the Dreaming West, a surfeit of souls, plunder, wealth, and peril. And it's $5. And it's from Monkey's Paw Games. And it's for basically OSR and 17 pages. It says, know, O wanderer, that between the myriads, when the starless seas rose and drank the gleaming spires of gods, and the time of the rising of the Queen of Swords, that there was a realm more dreamlike than a dream, lay spread across the spheres like blue mantles beneath the stars, topless towers of gold, hills and valleys alive with music, rivers and forests splashing and swaying without wind, a priceless jewel in the dreaming west. It says Sumac Berries is a number 5 in a series of short hacks and dungeon crawls for the pink hack system, but are easily adaptable to OSR system of your choice. Each Doom crawl is inspired by the iconic Special Herbs beat tracks from MF Doom. Nice. So you have some music you can kind of look at to see the inspiration. It works with pink hack or other OSR. And what's in this book? It's got 2d6 rumors heard of the Dreaming West, 1d20 misfortunes befalling unwary expeditions, 10 hexes to explore, 9 1d6 discovery tables with encounters, treasure, and NPCs, and 17 pages of adventure. So lots of stuff going on. I like it. And here's the hex map with numbers on it. Kind of shows you, this is number 10 is represented by this, and then you've got these other little spots, so very flavorful. And then you've got your rumors and your misfortune. So let's look at a little bit of the rumors. It says, the Hobbs demand an exorbitant toll to any who traverse these lands. And then number 7, the weird wood exists partially in the Fae and is bound only by fever dreams and non-logic of those strange realms. Nice. And then under misfortune, you've got a field of poisonous dream flowers, blood red amidst the mud and smelling of cinnamon and spice, lose 1d6 watches to the dream. And then you've got Argent Storm turns trees to kindling, save or 1d6 damage. You've got a jail maze of broken hard light, save or become engrossed by the puzzle and lose 1d3 days. So I love the flavor of this. Lots of new words. You've got the dreaming, all kinds of stuff. I think it's really well laid out, and the text is so flavorful. I mean, even this little intro we read was just vivid, and I love that so much as a fellow writer. So, and it's just $5 for this little fun adventure. So I think you should look for it under Sumac Berries in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Wayfarers of the Farwood Player's Guide with this fun cover, and they've also released kind of a world book, which I think is more of like the DM guide, and then an adventure, it looks like, called The Iron Thieves this week. But we're just going to talk about the Player's Guide. And it's for 5th edition, 65 pages, Farwood Publishing. Andreas Mikkelsen is the author. And it says, fresh from the presses from the successful Kickstarter, it says, leave civilization behind and step into the primordial. 𝙤𝙤𝙘 is a world where the gods roam the land, where magic is raw and unpredictable, and where each journey is a struggle for survival. You are tasked to travel the endless and ever-changing Farwood in your quest to connect the isolated bastions of civilization. Enter a land where chanters craft items out of wood and stone with their song, where spirits of vanquished foes are bound for strength, where terror lanches transform the land from one terrain to another in the blink of an eye, and where the wilderness reigns supreme. So you've got a new class, the Spirit Chanter, 12 new subclasses, character creator. It's a new description of races, classes, and how they fit into 𝙤𝙤𝙘. Every character is more than just their race and class. Learn of the gods and how they are worshipped, as well as descriptions of the world in daily life. Rules for creating items and binding spirits to the items, crafting material library, new skills like hunting and foraging. You can hunt for fame, food, or to keep your village safe from monsters. Forage the Farwood for rare materials to craft unique items. And then you've got new spells, 4 new folklore spells called the God Songs. These are spells that all know of and many can cast. They are cornerstones of civilization on 𝙤𝙤𝙘. A modular armor system and lots of amazing art. So yeah, and then there's a little trailer from their Kickstarter that you can watch. I just think it's a really cool setting. Primordial is a really fun aspect that doesn't get explored a lot, and then the art that I've seen so far looks really beautiful. So it's $16.49 for the PDF. And like I said, they have these other books that are part of it as well. So just scrolling through, you can see some really beautiful, fun artwork. You get to see 7 pages in here. Get to see a little bit of the Spirit Chanter, which is the new class. But lots of fun. So there's the wood chanted armor. So you get this like wood that you're wearing, which is nice. It says most races on Lordaeron differ somewhat from their regular descriptions, but only when it comes to their backgrounds, history, and roles in society. So it kind of covers what it's like for half-elves, dwarves, dragonborn, etc. in Lordaeron compared to some of the other settings you're used to. So let's read a little bit about the Spirit Chanter, though. So we should be able to zoom in since it's 2 columns. It says, his chant quieted down to a whisper as the spirit found its way to the vessel, bound by his song. The vessel, his worn and well-used hand axe, crackled with its newly imbued power. It had been an exhausting encounter, a long struggle, and a dangerous battle, but 𝙁𝙗 had eventually bested the beast, and by doing so, earned its power to be yielded as his own. The chimera's deadly tail still twitched as it lay on the ground, so recently had the fight ended. But he knew there was no time to spare, as the beast's magical essence could be lost if left unbound for too long after its passing. As soon as he had been sure of the beast's defeat, he sat down and began to chant Lorsek's grasp, channeling the godsong's magic through himself to the vessel, thus binding the spiritual essence of the beast. 𝙗𝙗 looked down at his axe. What only moments ago had been well-crafted but not uncommon hand axe was now something. I guess I can't continue reading that because the page that it continues on is not here, but that's okay. You get the flavor. It sounds like a really fun, like they're binding these spirits from these dead beasts. So potentially things about your class can change, and you get a certain number of spirit points as you go. And you can see they have some fun stuff going on. Channeling spirits, keen spirit, spiritual philosophy feature, which, is pretty cool. I'm guessing that's your subclass, your spiritual philosophy, and meditative mind, etc. So yeah, it looks really cool. I think this is just beautiful. The art is cool. The concept is great. I like this notion of Lordaeron and, the primordial. And like I said, there's 3 books to support it. Looks like the adventure is on sale. So you should look for Wayfarers of the Farwood in the links below and give it a click and check out this beautiful new setting. Well, that's our last drive-through title for the week. Before we move on to the DM's Guild, please subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse. There you can get all the news when the new videos come out. You can also find out about what's coming for 2022. I'm furiously writing on a top secret Kickstarter that's going to be coming in 2022, and I cannot wait to be able to tell you what it actually is, but I have to keep it secret for now. But if you follow me, you'll find out. You'll be among the first to know. And I would appreciate if you like the videos, share the videos out there with friends. If you leave me a comment, I will write you back. And please think about all those links in the video description and supporting these creators, encouraging them to keep making great stuff for us to enjoy at our tables. And if you click any of those links and make a purchase, I will get a small percentage for the channel to support us through the affiliate program. But if you're feeling especially supportive today, we've got 5 books that we released in 2021 under Splinterverse Media listed in the video description as well. We've got the Feywild Companion, over 150 pages related to the Feywild, whether it's adventures, encounters, subclasses, items, spells, anything and everything Feywild is in that book. And like I said, over 150 pages. Just in the tokens alone, there's like 70 plus tokens in there for you to use. So just some really good stuff. Then we've got Potions Unlocked on DriveThru, which is over 100 pages, and it's both digital and print on demand, and it's got anything and everything related to potions so that you can make them an integral part of your game. Really fun. Each potion in there has its own backstory, which is like a short story you can read, and stories linked together. So if you like fiction and you read all the little backstories of the potions, you'll see some things kind of coming together in like a little cinematic universe. And some of the characters and things in there might reappear in future stuff from Splinterverse Media. So you're getting kind of an early taste of some of those characters. And then we've got Secrets of the Draugr, which is a brand new race that combines the Drow and the Dwargar, which is especially good now that they've changed how the Drow are. So I like that we kind of had that going on. And then you've got the Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, which covers how to handle lineages in your campaign with the optional rules, and then 4 really distinct lineages, and it's only $2.99, so it's such a great price for that one. And we've got Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, which is the perfect companion for Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, or on its own if you just want some dragon flair for your game. It's got subclasses that are dragon themed for every single class, spells, horde magic items, a familiar, trinkets. I mean, it's just dragon galore. So check it out in those links in the video description. Now let's go on to the DM's Guild. Our first DM's Guild title is Alternative Injuries by Dividestins. It's a pay what you want price suggested at $1 for 6 pages. It says, death is an ending except when it's not. That stops fun in its tracks. Some DMs avoid death, only dealing it out when the player agrees, and it can be suitably epic. Going down still needs to have a sting, though, and these rules provide it. Don't have an adventure ended by an ignominious death. Have it continue despite feeling like death. So, interesting that they're going to have some alternative to death here. So, you get to see all 6 pages, which is helpful in this preview. And yeah, let's read a little bit about the intro and where they're going with this. It says, because it's fun, death loses its sting if a dead character can simply be revived, or if there's never any danger of failing death saving throws. The lingering injuries outlined here provide real consequences for going down without being as catastrophic as death. Consequences and challenge can heighten gameplay. To put it another way, a hero striking down the Demon Lord is way more radical if the Demon Lord took his arm and an eye in the fight. By standard rules, he'd either be dead, do nothing, or wake up unhindered after a peaceful hellfire-induced nap once someone whispered a healing word his way. Boring. Of course, talk to your players before implementing this. Maybe they don't want it to be possible for their character to suffer horrible head trauma. So then the lingering injuries is kind of one way of dealing with it, it looks like. And then they have scars, healing injuries, staying up, inspired resilience, and a good death sections. But let's read a little bit of the injuries here. So you've got lost eye, you have disadvantage on perception checks that rely on sight and ranged attack rolls. If you have no viable eyes left after sustaining this injury, you are blinded until you get a new eye. If you roll this with no eyes, roll again. And then destroyed ear, you have disadvantage on perception checks that rely on hearing. If you have no viable ears left after sustaining this injury, you are deafened until you get a new ear. And if you roll with no ears, roll again. But they've got destroyed vocal cords, serious head injury, bruised eye, broken arm, lost leg or foot, lost arm or hand, broken leg, minor head injury, bruised throat, you name it. It's in here. Injuries. So that's cool. It gives you some options to explore. And you could even just use this with NPCs or monsters. Maybe the monsters experience these things if you don't want to do it as something that happens to a PC. So check it out under Alternative Injuries in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Candlekeep Murders, The Dead Winter Prophecy, Who Killed the Keeper of Tomes? It's by Duncan Rhodes, Hipsters and Dragons, $10 for 107 pages. And got a nice quote from Ed Greenwood, which is cool. When the players arrive at the gates of Candlekeep in the dead of winter, they don't expect to find the doors barred and no watcher to greet them. These are no ordinary times in the Great Library, however. The Keeper of Tomes was murdered last night and his body found mutilated at dawn. As the only people not present in Candlekeep at the time of the murder, the Council of Great Readers vote to put the players in charge of the investigation. As they try to solve this complex crime, they will uncover many more secrets of the Great Readers, reckon with the beast of Candlekeep, and maybe even discover the fabled Vault of Secrets itself. An archive so powerful that if its tomes fell into the wrong hands of civilization as we know it, would be destroyed by chaos and depravity. Interesting. So Candlekeep's fun, and there's so many options with all those books and things in Candlekeep that the depths of it can just barely be plumbed with what's been published. So I'm excited that this exists to give you this murder mystery and just further explore what's out there. So it says it comes with a complex murder mystery to solve. All the Candlekeep locations and lore from Candlekeep Mysteries are woven into the adventure, so you get more use out of that book if you purchased it. There's new lore on the ranks of the Avowed, the Watchers, heating, sports, sayings, etc. A beautifully rendered cryptogram, 3 new monster stat blocks, and inside the Great Library supplement with 24 new Candlekeep locations. Candlekeep Library Generator for creating infinite new library buildings within the Great Library, and it includes 20 quirky Avowed librarians. So these generators can be used over and over, for other things. So lots of value, even after you've run the adventure, you're going to get out of this book. And I think the artwork is really nice, and it just seems like there's so much in this one book, and I'm excited for that. Look at how fun this page looks. So yeah, let's take a look inside. So you get to see 9 of those 107 pages. So you've got kind of your timelines in here, information on the adventure, of course, inside the Great Library, the library generators at the very end. So got information on various characters that they're going to encounter. And looking through the ranks of the Avowed, and the adventure structure, and then the crime timeline, which obviously is going to reveal who the killer is, so we don't want to look too closely at that. But it says it's divided into 2 distinct parts. The first involves the investigation of the death of the Keeper of Tomes, in which the player's ongoing investigation takes place during a described series of events. Players will enjoy the freedom of Candlekeep to investigate in their own way, but the mysteries are likely to unfold quicker than they are able to solve them. The second part resembles more of a treasure hunt than a murder mystery, and pits the players against Manchun and his cronies in a race to find Candlekeep's fabled Vault of Secrets. The party will need to decide what strategy to adopt to deal with the scenario and how best to use the resources available to them. So fun. I like that there's 2 different angles and that there's just so much going on. I think that library generator is going to be super useful. These characters can return if you have other Candlekeep plans. Maybe you're going to use Candlekeep as kind of a home base. So I'm excited by this. I think it's going to be fun for people. So check it out under Candlekeep Murders in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got the Carnival Adventure Setting and Witchlight Expansion from Mark Mockridge, $14.99 for 24 pages. The Carnival is a traveling domain of dread, and it's a demiplane that exists nowhere and anywhere at once, moving through the mists of Shadowfell. At a whim of its masters, it can insert itself into any other domain or cut itself off entirely, although travelers with a talisman and a strong will can always find it. So the Carnival is sort of the mirror of the Witchlight Carnival. In fact, the owners of the 2 carnivals kind of traded places at one point in the history of the lore. So yeah, there's a lot of value in having more detail on the Carnival, especially if your players enjoyed the Witchlight, and wanted to keep doing something with carnivals. This gives you some more opportunity. It says your players encounter the carnival, see its shows, and participate in its attractions. And there's an insidious plot by a mad professor to overthrow the carnival owners and seize power for himself. There's an add-on quest that incorporates the carnival into your WoW Beyond the Witchlight campaign, and it's a setting designed for characters between levels 5 to 7 and refers extensively to Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. There's 19 pages of carnival locations, characters, quests, and attractions. 5 pages of expansion material for Witchlight, and 7 digital maps for your VTT, including the Carnival Overview, the Big Top, the Hall of Horrors, the Mirror Zone, Litwick Market, and Isolde's office, plus a map of the Witchlight's Big Top. So, very fun. So here's the carnival with all the different like little locations. So there's one like this for the Witchlight carnival as well, but this is focused on the Ravenloft carnival. So now you know with this you would get basically, if you have the other book, you'd have a map for each one, which is awesome. And here's the Big Top, which you can use for Witchlight, and then Litwick Market map. So beautiful maps alone make this something definitely to consider. And let's take a look inside. So you get to see 6 of those 24 pages. So you've got your overview of the carnival, the inhabitants, all the locations and attractions they can see, and then a ritual. And then you get right into it, and this looks really nice. You've got the carnival overview, the various locations, and something called Wooden Head, and the Blade Brothers, the Illuminated Man. So let's read about the Illuminated Man here. It says, all the lights in the Big Top go down, plunging the tent into complete darkness. Cutting through the shadow, unnaturally loud and clear, Tyndall's voice echoes eerily through the ring. Reelers and fainters, look away, for now we present to you the pinnacle of panic, the titan of terror, the harbinger of horror, the Illuminated Man. The lights come up on a man dressed in nothing but a loincloth. Across his skin, unnatural shapes twist and contort as dozens of tattoos swim and crawl across his body, forming into grotesque faces and grinning skulls. From behind the hypnotic display, Tyndall steps forward into his own spotlight and addresses the silent audience. Do we have any here brave enough to face the greatest fears for the chance to be free from them forever? So that's fun. It's got this interesting character with these images on him and all the details about it. So yeah, very flavorful, different from Witchlight. So that's really helpful. So you should check it out under the carnival in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have the Coin Purse, immersive and streamlined pricing system by Andrei Stolyarev, and it's $2.99 for 5 pages. It says Coin Purse system is a variant rule set which can be used instead of standard pricing. It aims to turn buying, selling, haggling, and trading into a streamlined yet immersive experience. Rather than providing an exact mathematical simulation of transactions, it strives to capture psychological effects of dealing with money, pressure of managing limited funds, excitement of appraising assorted trophies, and anticipation of pooling up resources to save up for an expensive experiment or expensive equipment, exhilaration of stumbling on a treasure hoard. One of the issues the system is designed to alleviate is the lack of concrete reference points. When a lord offers the party a reward of 500 GP, the players might not know how to react. Is it a generous offer or a cheap one? How does it compare to whatever a commoner would earn per month? How does it compare to the lord's income? What kind of life would the party be able to afford? So, answer some really cool questions. Let's take a look inside. So you get to see 2 of those 5 pages. So it talks about what the system is, what's different, and how to use it, as well as the denominations, etc. So we'll just zoom in and read a little bit. It says approximate prices are used instead of exact numbers. And prices for new items can be easily determined on the fly. Exact price lists are not required, which speeds up both preparation and the game. All prices are tied to lifestyle levels, which gives players concrete reference points and immerses them in the fiction. Small transactions are tracked in a simplified manner, which allows you to use the spotlight for adventures rather than bookkeeping, while still holding players accountable for their resource management. So here's the lifestyle levels. Poor people at this lifestyle level tend to be peasants, unskilled laborers, peddlers, etc. So you've got the simplest food, just enough not to go hungry, run down and cramped housing, worn out clothes, battered equipment, and just a bare minimum of tools to get by. Little to no access to most comforts such as bathhouses and services such as healers. At this level, significant expenses are usually paid in copper. And then you've got comfortable and aristocratic. So comfortable uses silver and aristocratic uses gold. So the most often used denominations are copper, silver, gold, and platinum. Platinum coins exist but are used rarely. Since this system aims to streamline transactions, the coins are never tracked individually. Instead, the smallest unit of currency is a handful of coins, and a handful always uses one specific coin denomination. For example, a handful of copper, a handful of silver, and a handful is approximate. For most people, monthly wage is a handful of coins. A handful of coins will cover all expenses for a month of living. Any significant purchase usually costs a handful of coins. So a handful of coppers, it is considered to be free unless the characters purchase considerable amounts of it. And then a purse of coins is defined as 3 handful of coins. Items of exceptional quality cost a purse of coins. A purse of coins can cover a season of living at the corresponding lifestyle level. Alternatively, a purse of coins can cover a week of living at the lifestyle one level higher. A bag of coins is defined as 4 purses and 12 handfuls of coins. A bag of coins is enough for a year of living. So, nice. And then converting the coins. So it's like they're just reducing the number of coins by having these handfuls and purses instead of individuals. So that's really cool. I think there is some room to explore this and maybe implement it in your games. So check it out under Coin Purse in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Crafters of War Metallurgist, which is 99 cents for 22 pages. Strike with the swords of cosmic steel. Defend with armors of ultralith. Rule the battlefield with your mechanicals, construct guardians, all made from one of 32 magical, mythical, legendary, or exalted materials. The Metallurgist class is a martial class that commands great metals, from the humble Celestium from the upper planes to the mighty Novolith, made by unknown advanced civilization. Arm yourself with weapons, armor, and shields of any of the unique metals, each with their own special abilities. As a super knight, wear your mechanical and combine your strengths to become a killing machine. As a Golem-mergist, create and command an army of mechanicals to control the ebb and flow of battle. And as an Iron Ranger, assist yourself or allies to grant hefty bonuses, helping you turn the tide. So, very fun. You can see some of the pages here as well. And then looking inside, you get to see the whole book, and it's only 99 cents for 22 pages, so that's a pretty good price for so much stuff. But you've got the class features, typical stuff, and then you get into the Paths of the Forged, which is all of the subclasses, and then metals and alloys. So very fun. Then they've got some legendary metals at the end, exalted metals, equipment and crafting. Very fun. All right, so let's find something interesting to read here. So this is all about metallurgy. Let's zoom in here. Custom equipment may be impressive, but true metallurgists take it a step further and create a marvel, a mechanical. Mechanicals are golem-like construct servants that serve their master, made from sets of armor. The stats and crafting instruction of mechanicals are in the equipment section. To command a mechanical, you need to be within 60 feet of it and spend a bonus action to command any or all of your mechanicals, granting the same command to each one. If you do not issue a command, they will take the dodge action. Whenever you roll a hit or dice to heal, roll a d6 and add your intelligence modifier for all of your mechanicals. And they are unstable items. So starting from the second level, you gain the ability to use powerful abilities of your special equipment. You gain a number of spark charges equal to your proficiency bonus. So there's spark charges you're using. At third level, your mastery over the workings of iron and steel have shaped your skills. You grant you your subclass of Path of the Forged. And all kinds of stuff. And then here's your Path of the Super Knight. That's just one. And Path of the Iron Ranger. And then Path of the Golem-mergist. So tons of stuff in here for this class, and it's all for 99 cents. So I'm sure you could find something in here to use, whether it's just the metals, you want some fancy metals for your campaign, you could just use those, or you could use everything. So check it out from Snack here under Crafters of War Metallurgist in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we've got the Cryptid Codex, Compendium of Creepy Creatures by Devin Young. and it is $1.95 for 15 pages. It says tales of monsters only rumored to exist have fascinated folk for generations untold. Creatures of folklore, legend, and myth often make up the inspirations for the many magical beasts that roam the worlds of D&D. No less compelling are the modern folk creatures known as cryptids, rumored to hide in the darkest forest or under the deepest waves. Some claim to catch glimpses of the mysterious beings, and ever so often a shred of proof corroborates the account. Do these fantastic creatures really exist? With the help of the Cryptid Codex in your campaign, they absolutely can. So you get an assortment of monsters inspired by folklore, cryptozoology, and urban legends. Each entry contains background information with flavorful descriptions and tactics. You've got low-level challengers to legendary encounters. 13 unique creepy critters inspired by cryptozoology and creepypasta. Challenge ratings ranging from beginning to epic. So very cool. Let's look inside. You can always use more monsters. You get to see 6 of those 15 pages. And so you've got this creature called the 𝘎𝙤𝙘 and the Chupacabra, Dark Watchers, Dropclaw, etc. Let's read about the Dark Watchers. Traveling at dusk is dangerous for a variety of reasons. Nocturnal predators awaken for their hunt, and even those who are able to see in the dark will find their senses lessened when the sun is setting. In the fog-covered hills and mountains of the world, all seems lonely and desolate at these times until one feels the unsettling sensation of being watched. Glancing up, humanoid figures can sometimes be seen, silently observing travelers passing through, their forms silhouetted against the darkening sky. Are they real, or is it a trick of light? What do these watchers want? Do they mean harm, or are they simply curious country folk? So, very fun. I like the artwork. Yeah, lots of creepy critters in here. There's so much on YouTube with cryptozoology these days that you can use for inspiration. So, I think you should check it out under Cryptid Codex in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Culinarian, a versatile combat support class with a flair for food. And it's by Mitchell Turnbull, $4.95. It doesn't say how many pages, but it says culinarians are masters of bringing out the innate magic found within the natural world. With a dash of spice and a hint of culinary magic, they can infuse powerful boons into their meals, bolstering their allies. Culinarian is even able to weaponize their ingredients, providing them unique maneuvers to help debuff any unwanted dinner guests. This class is a more serious take on a battle chef archetype. While it can handle itself fine in combat, it's primarily a support class. So you've got subclasses, including 6 of them. Legend Hunter, where you hunt down legendary creatures and gain their power as a kindler. With an oven built into their heavy armor, they defend those around them with a horde of ember spirits. You have the Grand Gourmet, a master of high society and powerful and rare ingredients, and that's just 3 of them. There's 3 more. It says it's a perfect class for those who are looking for a highly customizable class, or that want a versatile support class, or that find cooking mechanics lacking and interesting at the same time. So, so you've got all kinds of good stuff in it, and it's bookmarked. So taking a look inside, here's the basics of the class itself, and then in the 9 pages of the preview, you get to see some of the subclasses, and it looks like with the page count, it's over 20 pages, which is nice. All right, so let's read a little bit about the culinarians. So they've got optional rule: cooks weapons. You are so accustomed to handling your cooking utensils that you have no trouble using them as weapons. So very cool. It talks about what damage the frying pan and the cleaver and all that stuff would do. You've got the cook's satchel. Starting at first level, you can create a magical container able to create food for you at will. Choose a closable container such as a chest, backpack, pouch, or sack. While touching one such container, you can perform a special 10-minute ritual to turn that container into a cook's satchel. You can only maintain one cook's satchel at a time. The satchel is an extra dimensional space, and you can reach into the satchel and think of a type of ingredient. That ingredient is then created and appears in your hand or a container, and it can only be basic ingredients such as simple refined material like flour, dried oats, or clean water, common vegetables, etc. So that's fun. Yeah, lots of fun, flavorful culinary stuff in here, weaponized ingredients, specialty ingredients. And, you know, Legend Hunter would be your discipline. So I like it. I think it's really cool. And it's under Culinarian in the links below, so give it a click. Next, we have Dead End by Large Knoll Press and Hans Tim. and it's $2 for 16 pages. The simple task of buying an item at a public auction pulls the PCs into an adventure involving a long-lost noble family and a dark pact made with the Lord of the Dead. The heroes will have to research the history of the noble family, battle the forces that are looking to ensure the dark pact will be fulfilled, and travel through the family's crypt to ensure the pact will be laid to rest. So it's for levels 1 to 4 or tier 1 and can be completed in 6 to 12 hours of play. So 2 to 3 sessions, it looks like. And the maps are included as well. So let's take a look inside, and you can see 3 of those 16 pages. And let's zoom in. So it's got 4 parts to the adventure. And then you've got your NPCs. There's auction with various items for sale. So yeah, let's read a little bit about some of these characters. So Lisbeth Lundy, owner of Little Shop of Wonders, former competitor of Thorben, Lisbeth will attempt to buy every item but will not bid over 50 gold for the common, 100 for the uncommon, and 500 for rare. Leonard Poulter, this rough-looking older man, serves as captain of the town guard and is interested in all items that might be useful to him and his men, such as the boots, bracers, cloak, goggles, and ring. His limit for the uncommon items is 120 gold, and his limit for the rare ring is 750. So yeah, you're getting some auction participants. So you could probably even use this auction outside of the adventure for, a list of auction items or people bidding at an auction. So very fun. Check it out under Dead End in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have The Fires of Refilon, an adventure for characters of level 6. And it's by Liam Pradrag O'Curlahanan. $1.95 for 19 pages. It says a breakaway religious sect gathers on the island of Refilon, collecting stolen relics and preparing for a mysterious great wager. Characters must learn the truth of fortune's favor, discover the secrets of Refilon, and do battle with the dragon in this exciting island adventure. 68 hours for 6th level. There's a new magic item, a terrifying new monster, 19-room dungeon, exciting chase through a burning forest, fearsome dragon and her horde, rhetorical battle with a charismatic cult leader, simplified style, and multiple endings. I like that, and the fact that dragons are involved. You can use the Fizzband books that have come out, mine and the ones from Wizards to supplement this, and then there's an island involved too, so anything nautical might come into play as well. Let's take a look inside. Get 5 pages here out of the 19. So you got your setting, your adventure hooks, so we'll read some of those in a minute. There's rumors. There's an optional encounter here with boars, tar pits, and the Domus Fortuna. That sounds like a fun place to go, or at least interesting. I won't say fun because I don't know. It says, those are the synopsis. Where's the hooks? Oh, there it is. The party have been hired by Alessandra Telrin, matriarch of an influential family of Waterdavian nobles, to find her daughter Linnea. Linnea was a trainee cleric of Timora until she suddenly absconded from the temple at Waterdeep to join fortune's favored on Refilon. The Tellerans have offered the party 1,000 GP to bring the daughter home. Okay. So let's take a look at the Domus Fortuna. The Domus Fortuna sits atop the commanding hill near the southern shore of Refilon. The temple's former grandeur is still evident in its intricate columns and white marble facade. However, even from a distance, the building's decay is obvious. The roof appears highly unstable, while the columns which support the structure are starting to crumble. The ceilings are 18 feet high. So, it just seems like a fun little ruin or temple. Not necessarily a ruin, I guess it's still around, but you got the temple with the cleansing room. This column terrace was originally the site of ritual bathing for important ceremonies. The once clear pool in the center of the room is now stagnant, so maybe it is a little ruined and coated with algae. Characters who enter this location have a passive perception of 16 or higher, hear frightened sobs. So some stuff going on in the ruins. But yeah, it's a fun little Forgotten Realms adventure. I think you should check it out under Fires of Refilon in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have another Forgotten Realms title, Knights in Silver by Carl Terrence Vander. It's $1 for 10 pages. Well, it's not really an adventure, it's an archetype. And it says a unique, but it could lead to some adventures, right? It's a unique fighter archetype for use in Forgotten Realms, although it can be used in any setting. The Knights in Silver have a long history in the north. Once the warrior guardians of Silvery Moon and the Silver Marches, and now traverse the Sword Coast, acting as knights errant. A Knight in Silver vows to defend the weak and protect the innocent. Although no longer tied directly to Silvery Moon, they still draw their strength from the ancient mythal that resides within the Gem of the North. So very cool. Yeah, unfortunately there's no preview, so we can't look inside, but it looks like it could be fun. You know, having this knight errant even is really cool, because, you know, that's like doing little errands and being a knight at the same time, and it ties into all this Forgotten Realms lore. So really cool. Check it out under Knights in Silver in the links below. Next we have Labyrinth of Scorn. It's a planner adventure for 15th level characters featuring the bleak eternity of 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙤, and it's by Dave Coulson, for $2.99 for 27 pages. And it's it's part of a series where the Tales of the Infinite Planes, highlighting the different parts of the multiverse. In this scenario, characters must destroy an infernal relic, the Horn of Deimos, but the path to complete the task runs through the dangerous volcanic slope of 𝙤𝙤𝙢 and into the crawling city of 𝘽𝙤𝙤. Only then can the party penetrate the Labyrinth of Deimos to put an end to the relic once and for all. The adventure is designed for a party of 15th level characters, but can be adjusted for higher or lower. And it serves as a follow-up to a previous adventure set in Elysium, so that's cool. And it's recommended that you get their Codex of the Infinite Planes book to refer to what's going on in the planes, because the planes aren't super covered in existing Wizards of the Coast material. They've covered, obviously, the Shadowfell a little bit with Ravenloft, or a lot with Ravenloft, and then the Feywild with Wild Beyond the Witchlight, but they really haven't done like a planes supplement. So a lot of the third-party content is really covering that. Of course, you can use older edition content as well to help get up to speed on some of these planes, but I appreciate that Dave is out there producing some planner stuff for people to reference. So very cool. And let's take a look inside. So you get to see all 27 pages. Again, very, very kind. No reason not to take a look and see if it's going to work for you. But yeah, scrolling through, there's a lot of stuff here, lots of locations, points of interest in the adventure that you can read about, and then you've got the monster stats at the end. So let's go back up here and see what we can find out about some of this stuff. All right, so we've got 𝙤𝙤𝙢 at a glance. Let's read that. Also known as the bleak eternity and the fourfold furnaces, 𝙤𝙤𝙢 is a plane of greed and selfishness. It is comprised of 4 layers, and each layer consists of a single enormous volcano floating in an ash-colored void. The layers are not visible from one another, but chunks of earth and stone occasionally crash into the slopes from the void, leading some planner scholars to believe that there is more to the void than meets the eye. There is no day or night cycle on 𝙤𝙤𝙢, and there's no sun or moon in the sky, only the eternal void existing between the layers filled with flying debris, which occasionally crashes into the side of the volcano layers. This is the largest source of the rock slides capable of washing away travelers and a cascade of falling stone. Callus is the largest and youngest of the 𝙤𝙤𝙢 volcanic layers. Its rocky slopes are filled with dangerous terrain, and the river Styx flows both up and down in deep, treacherous ravines. So lots of flavor for 𝙤𝙤𝙢. These planes, they just don't get a lot of love. And so, again, I appreciate that Dave is out there giving a lot of information on what's going on and giving you adventures to explore them. I mean, look at this one, the Labyrinth of Deimos. I mean, all kinds of fun awaits you in the Labyrinth of Scorn. So look for it in those links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Maxim Manual for Monsters. And it says this for a manual for non-humanoids. So you and I are humanoids, so we cannot read it. No, it's an in-game reference, so you can really read it. Transparent Games, Vicente Martinez Jr., Anna Konzak, and Laura Briskin Limehouse are the authors. $4.95 for 32 pages. And it says, tired of adventurers messing up your home? Ever wanted to make your home safe from heroes? So it's a source book for denizens of the dungeons, 13 hero archetypes, a catalog to better understand humanoid adventurers, curated by Maxim the Mimic and his friends, containing stat blocks, feats, and 10 adventure ideas to pit against your monster players. Also included are 5 playable monster races: Mimic, Barghest, Jackal, Were, Green Slot, and Were Rat. So I think the concept is that this is designed to support your players playing as monsters, quote unquote monsters, against some what would normally be the players, but the roles are reversed. You're playing the monsters and they're playing the party. So very fun. I like that role reversal. And again, I want us to lean more into this notion of not all monsters are evil. Some of them are good, or in between. So you've got this fun little intro. You get to see 5 of the 32 pages, but you get a little intro here from Maxim. It says, hi, I'm Maxim, or just Max for short. Not that I have many friends to call me Max. See, I'm what you humanoids call a mimic. It's borderline offensive, really. Do you hear me call out to you, hey, you bipeds? No, you wouldn't, because it would most likely get me killed. Adventurers is what I hear most of you bandy about when describing yourselves. You have it so hard, wandering around everywhere trying to kill everything before it kills you. Must be nice to clear a swath and leave decimation in your wake. So you can see kind of the playful voice of Max, the mimic, talking to you, and that's the Maxim in the title here. So I think it could be a lot of fun for you to get these player races out of the book, as well as some feats, adventure ideas, stat blocks. You know, you can mix and match, pick and choose what you want to use. But I think it's a fun time. So look for it under Maxim's Manual for Monsters in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Mother Night, an otherworldly patron, and it's a Curse of Strahd subclass for warlocks. Santiago Cabrera and Samuel Cabrera are the authors. It's free, and it's 3 pages, so I definitely need to grab this as well. And it says your patron is Mother Night, one of the gods that exists inside the dim plane of Barovia, where the module Curse of Strahd takes place. Inside you'll find a new otherworldly patron. Use the power of darkness that permeates this gothic horror landscape. Shape the dreams of foes and allies to turn them into nightmares. Become a sanctuary for an outcast. So let's add that to my cart. And over here, looking at the book, you get to see all 3 pages. So here's the patron with some beautiful artwork. And then you got your expanded spell list, darkness protection, shadowy escape. So since you can see the whole book and it's free, I mean, you really should grab this. So it says, starting at 6th level, you can vanish and retreat to nearby shadows in response to harm. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to teleport to an unoccupied space you can see that is in dim light or darkness. Beginning at 10th level, Mother Night teaches you to channel her protective embrace. As an action, you can make up to 10 natural sources of light you can see, such as lamps, candles, torches, fireplaces, etc., be affected by the darkness spell. And it lasts for 10 minutes. Additionally, when you use this feature, you can choose up to 5 willing creatures that you can see within 60 feet of you. All those creatures gain the ability to see normally in darkness. So nice, fun features. Love the cover, very flavorful. Ties in well with Ravenloft, but can be used elsewhere. You know, those patrons can be used in any campaign. So, and it's totally free. So I think you should look for it under Mother Night in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Soiree, a Waterdeep Tale by Zero Reynolds with beautiful art. Zero also does the art and always does a beautiful job. I really enjoy looking at Zero's work. It's $4.95 for 22 pages. It says masquerade, an assassination plot, and a poetry contest. All of this before cocktails are served. Yeah, that's a party. Your party has been hired by a mysterious benefactor to crash the party of the year at Castellanter Winter Estate. Your objective is simple. Infiltrate the ball and locate Lord Castellanter's private office, abscond with the files in his safe, and return them to your employer without anyone discovering you. There's only one hitch. Combat and overt magic are strictly prohibited. Uh-oh. So it's a heist adventure, and it's centered around role play and out-of-the-box problem-solving. Combat is discouraged in favor of interaction, guile, and more than a bit of luck. So yeah, if you're into this new trend of non-combat, this is perfect. I love that. I personally, when I'm playing, I'm much more interested in the role play than the combat. So I like this. It says inside you'll find all you need to run this unusual adventure. You got detailed maps, printout materials, tips for DMs, NPC files, multiple avenues for players to complete the heist, and lead-ins for ongoing campaigns in the Forgotten Realms. And then there's an optional threat threshold mechanic. That sounds interesting as well. So looking inside, you get to see 6 of those 22 pages. You've got a foreword, and then talking about the contract, the assets, the files that they're after, the threat threshold mechanics. So maybe we'll read a little bit of that. And then here's the first floor map, and then part 1. So we'll read a little bit of the threat threshold, and then we'll come back and read one of these flavor text boxes. So this preview system is so much better than the drive-through one. It's so difficult to read things on drive-through, but this is so easy. I hope that they can mimic that on drive-through with the new site. Anyway, optional threat threshold mechanic. The optional threshold system assigns a number to each NPC the players will interact with. Failures and successes on various skill checks when interacting with these NPCs will raise or lower that number, usually by 1 or 2 points depending. A number below 5 represents an NPC who is fairly easygoing and personable. Above 5 is an NPC who is suspicious of strangers or easy to antagonize. Once that NPC's number hits 0, they will do all they can to help their new friend. The players need only keep the NPC in the friendly zone to get positive outcomes. However, should that number hit 10, they will refuse to speak to the players any further and may call the guards if pushed. Play named NPCs as advised, with the more shrewd, naturally suspicious ones probing the player backstories. So I like this because it's flexible. You can use it even outside this adventure, and you can probably easily keep track of this. I mean, it's 0 to 10, so it's not going to be that hard. You could even use dice probably to represent each of the NPCs and just change the dice to whatever rating they're on. If you have a lot of dice, which a lot of people do. And then, you've got this cool map down here. And then down here, we got some flavor text. So let's read the first part. No weapons and no magic unless you feel that you will not be seen, the half-elven man warns. The client was informed that while security on the first floor will not be as robust as the second, it would not be wise to do away with all subtlety. Any infraction will likely result in your expulsion from the party and the grounds violently. Yeah, so you get a little warning before you go in there. I think this is fun. It could be a little one-shot opportunity. I like the art and the style of the layout. It's easy to read. Got an optional mechanic you can use for other things. More non-combat options. So all around, really cool. So check it out under Soiree in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Sorcerer Unlimited. And it's a D&D 5th edition supplement for Sorcerer Identity. And it says play your role. It's a suggested price of 50 cents on Pay What You Want. It's already a best copper seller, 6 pages, and they have a little video as well. So check that out, and maybe give play your role a sub while you're there. And Sorcerer Unlimited revolves specifically around the sorcerer and the lack of identity or unique spells they receive. In order to hopefully adjust for this, Player Roll has worked with a few friends to create a supplement that should add options to any sorcerers at your table without drastically changing the class like many other homebrewed options tend to do. You find new sorcerer-specific spells, cantrips, and a new type of spell known as temperamental, made to make the sorcerer feel more like they're truly a wellspring of magic ready to unleash at a moment's notice. They're meant to be, the spells in the document are meant to be exclusive to the sorcerer and have been balanced as such. If you offer them to other classes, you do that at your own risk. So, and they're balanced with meta magics in mind. So here you go, Sorcerers Unlimited. So you get to see all of the pages in the preview. Again, very generous and definitely a great reason to check it out. So talks all about what's going on, and then it lists all the spells and the new meta magic options. So, and I think the temperamental, I'm not sure where that's explained. I know it's in here because I was looking at this earlier. Let's see. Does this say? Yeah. So you have the normal spell, and then if there's temperamental, something happens. But I think that's in the, maybe down here. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I know it's in here. I've looked at it. So if you come and read it yourself, you'll get to read about temperamental. So I think that's fun, though, that they have this kind of new mechanic. So the first cantrip is called Minimize, and it says you can magically shrink a willing creature you touch to one size smaller than its natural size. The spell cannot make a creature smaller than tiny. Until the spell ends, the creature gains all benefits and negatives of a smaller size and cannot grow any smaller. If you have cast this cantrip within the last minute, you must succeed on a charisma check or the spell fails. And it's got an increasing DC on it. And then let's scroll down and read one of these temperamental ones. So you've got Silencing Cacophony. It says you gather and release a ravaging shriek from your throat, echoing out in a 60-foot cone in front of you. Each creature within the cone must make a con saving throw or take thunder damage and become deafened for 1 minute. On a successful save, a creature takes half as much damage and isn't deafened. At the end of each of its turns, it can make a saving throw to get out of it. And then temperamental, the strain of the spell temporarily removes your voice, silencing you and removing your ability to cast spells with verbal components until the end of your next turn. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 5th level or higher, the damage increases. So nice. And then you've got Controlled Spell, which is a new meta magic, and Refractory Spell, another one. So lots of stuff to read through in here. I think you should come through, read all this, since you can read the whole book and seriously consider it, because yeah, it would be fun to have some things that make the sorcerer feel a little special instead of like kind of just getting leftovers from the other classes. So it's under Sorcerer Unlimited in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Strixhaven Supplemental, Volume 3, Creature Compendium and Item Index. So we covered past editions of the Strixhaven Supplemental. I think Volume 1 we covered from Alex Cruz. It's 18 pages. And this is, again, a companion to Strixhaven. And it's got magic items, artifacts, equipment that are inspired by the Magic the Gathering cards, etc. There's 13 creatures, 8 legendary ones, and each college has at least 1 legendary creature associated with it. And there's several legendary creatures that employ unique encounter mechanics that will challenge even veteran players. And then it has also several ideas on flavoring existing stat blocks to build other Strixhaven creatures. So yeah, Strixhaven's a little bit different with some of the new mechanics over there, so it's kind of cool to give things that flavor that fit with those colleges. So you get to see 2 of the pages. So you've got the eye twitch. So let's read a little bit about that. Inspiration taken from the eye twitch MTG card. Eye twitches are common creatures found in and around the Sedgemoor and Detention Bog. Known for their creepy eyes, which possess a number of alchemical properties, eye twitches are also known for their ability to see through magical disguises and invisibility. Professors and even some shadier individuals sometimes bind eye twitches to their will to help protect valuable property or secrets. Eye twitches are skittish creatures, and upon spotting any hostile source, they will immediately attempt to fly away. So this is fun. I mean, if you have players that also play Magic, you're just bringing in more of that established Strixhaven lore, because obviously the Strixhaven supplement could not cover every single card in that Strixhaven card set. So these authors are bringing in more of that so that you can really have that full Strixhaven experience. I mean, you might want to have multiple adventures beyond the ones in the book from wizards in Strixhaven, so you're going to need stuff like this. And these creatures, they could be outside of Strixhaven as well, right? So why not check it out under Strixhaven Supplemental 3 in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Tabletop. It says your next session is all prepared for you. Full TTRPG experience with DM or without. I love this cover. Really beautiful. And it's by Sven Schreckenbrodt, who wrote one of the encounters in my Feywild Companion book. And it's $4.95 for 71 pages. And it said, what DM hasn't been there? You want to run a game. You promised your players a session would happen. Everyone is on their way, but inspiration just doesn't strike. You have no idea what to put on the table today, and you have like 15 minutes left. I've certainly been there. From one particularly desperate session that came about this way, the idea for Tabletop was born. You can improvise a session of Tabletop from literally anything that you can put on the table. The adventure gives you a narrative framework for that and also provides a number of sample encounters for all level ranges that you can use as they are or as inspiration for creating your own personal session. The adventure comes with 30 prepared encounters, 12 usable for each of the 4 tiers of play, to mix and match from a simple glob of chewing gum to the apocalyptic cat on the table. Highly replayable adventure framework, 15 original monster stat blocks from the swarm of small gelatinous cubes to the dice golem. Plus, you'll see classic fan favorites such as the Beholder, Aboleth, and Elderbrains in ways you've never seen them before. So yeah, fun concept and cover. So you get to see 35 of the 71 pages, so pretty much half the book. And yeah, you can see all kinds of stuff in here. How to play the game, running the game, role-playing as the different characters, playing without a DM. Yeah, just lots of options. Glob of gum here. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun and a lot of different options for you. So there's a frog in a jar. Let's read about that. It says, you hear a sudden pawing and scraping from the edge of the table when a humongous mouse scuttles onto the tabletop. It rears up, towering at twice your height, sniffs the air, and then starts beelining it straight for you. So I'm guessing you're kind of miniaturized and you're dealing with things on the table. It tells you what statistics to use in the combat. And rewards and consequences. If the party successfully tames the frog, it serves them as a mount. The frog can carry up to 2 characters. Okay, so that could lead into the next adventure. And you've got the difficulty, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, let's scroll up here and see. It says it can be played with a DM and 1 to 7 players. It can also be played without a DM by having the players run encounters in turn. The game can even be played alone, just you against the encounters. So much flexibility. I like that, and I'm sure the system can be reused for your own encounters that you come up with. So very cool, and it's under tabletop in the links below, so give it a click. Next we have Untap Burn, Elemental Key by Phil Kearney and Ken Carcass. It is $2.99 for 14 pages. It's a collection of variant rules that provide new options for monks that choose the way of the 4 elements tradition. The elemental magic paradigm creates game mechanics around a monk's key pool and disciplines chosen to feel like the way of the 4 elements is more than just flavor. Elemental Key provides the means to devote each point of key to one of the 4 elements when using elemental disciplines. Air key for air disciplines, etc. There's a play mat. Additional elemental class features are included to complement the elemental disciplines that the way of the 4 elements offers. Similar to half-casting classes, there's a new variant duration and concentration mechanics provided similar to those in Tap Unturned books linked above. Because it says it's very similar to Untap Burn 5-color mana spell point variant rules provided on DM's Guild. So it's building upon that book that's on the DM's Guild. Nice. You don't often see books that build on other books on here, so I always like seeing that. It says there are 100 plus pages of additional variant magic paradigm and character mechanics in production right now. So they're working on lots of magic stuff. Magic the Gathering and all that good stuff. So looking inside, you get to see all 14 pages. So very kind. And you got an elemental disciplines table. And then the elemental key and disciplines, additional way of the 4 elements features. So you've got all these various things. So Untap Burn mechanics. Let's read a little bit of that. It says the following rules provide new options for using key with disciplines. So elemental disciplines table lists the witch durations. So instant and sustained. The term effects below refers to the conditions or results of using disciplines, features, and spells. For example, the stunning strike feature creates an effect that causes the stun condition. The Ride the Wind discipline creates an effect that allows the target to fly. The Flurry of Blows feature creates an effect that allows you to take a bonus action to make 2 attacks. And so instant effects end immediately after use, and sustained effects remain active for as long as you maintain concentration. And then you've got combined tapping. Using this variant rule, you can sustain multiple effects that have combined total of tapped key equal to or less than your max key limit. So it's kind of like tapping mana and magic, to increase your power. So very fun, all kinds of concepts in here that are different. And, the monk is often talked about as needing some refinement and changes. So I think this could be a really cool option for you. So look for it under Untap Burn in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have White as Snow by Jeremy Fair. It's $4.95 for 58 pages. It's a dark and horrific tale of monstrosity and revenge, though heavily inspired by Grimm brothers Snow White and many other Grimm fairy tales. The story told in this adventure is far from lighthearted. We all know the classic story of Snow White, but what happens when the murder doesn't quite go as planned? What happens when Snow White doesn't die, but instead becomes a beast of the night with eternal beauty and a thirst for blood? So it's designed for 3 to 5 level 10 characters and should take about 4 sessions to complete. So let's look inside. You get to see 14 of the 58 pages. A lot of pages in this. I think that's great. So you've got Frost Layer, and it's a decent amount of text. It's not like they're extra spaced pages to get you those 58. So I'm excited that they've given you so much content. Nice maps with things labeled. Even some mines in here. So yeah, very cool. Let's see if we can find some flavor text to read to you. It says, after walking for nearly an hour, you look down to see a massive stone chasm in the forest floor where the ground had split from some unknown ancient calamity. The pit appears to be at least 200 feet deep and about a mile long, and features steep, icy walls compacted with jagged frozen rocks and dead tree roots. The bottom of the pit is visible, but it's hard to see much detail and appears to consist of large chunks of rocks covered in permafrost and fresh powdered snow. Very cool. I just think, Snow White is a fun fairy tale. If you read the original one and the things that have come after it, you can mix all those together and really create a fun adventure with some really nice art. I think the maps are nice. I love this cover. So I think there's going to be a lot in these 58 pages for you to explore as an adventure. For level 10 characters, also nice to have something that high. You don't often see that. So check it out under White as Snow in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have The Wild Beyond the Witchlight Player's Companion from Caitlin Gallagher and Patty Gallagher, $2.99 for 25 pages. It says that there are a bunch of subclasses in here to enjoy, 13 brand new ones, along with additional themed class options that will put any adventure in the limelight. New spells as well. And it says, a genius crafter of living toys, a student of elusive magic of fairies, and the master of a troupe of performing and trained animals. So lots of options. And I was looking at it earlier, and even though it's called Wild Beyond the Witchlight Player's Companion, I feel like these subclasses really are beyond just Feywild stuff. They could be used anywhere. So, if you're a fan of subclasses or you just want something new, this could really work for you. And you get to see 5 pages here in the preview. So this first one is an Artificer one. It's called The Toy Maker, with some really cute art with Tinker Toys, and then even something called Remote Control as a feature. And then you've got the Barbarian Path of the Challenger with some cool weapons in here. So you get to see a little bit of it, but we'll read a little bit about the Tinker Toys. So starting at 3rd level, your proficiency at constructing small machines has led you to create a horde of Tinker Toys that follow you in your travels. You can spend an hour with Tinker Tools to produce a swarm of Tinker Toys, which act as one creature with the following profile. The swarm of constructs is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. In combat, the Tinker Toys share your initiative, and the swarm can move on its own, but only action it can perform on its turn is dodge action unless you use a bonus action on your turn to command it. So lots of fun stuff, with these Tinker Toys. You get improved Tinker Toys. You get a remote control where you can have two swarms active at once, so you can have greater control over them. But yeah, it just looks really fun and flavorful. You got the stat block for your little swarm. And yeah, like I said, I think you can use these subclasses in a lot of settings, not just Feywild. So check it out under Wild Beyond the Witchlight Player's Companion in the links below and give it a click. Well, that's the last title for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse so you can keep up on all the happenings in Splinterverse media world for 2022. Like the video, leave us a comment. I will respond to you. Share the video with your friends and click those links to support all the wonderful creators we've shown today. And if you purchase anything after you've clicked those links, it's going to help support the channel. And If you're feeling especially kind today, consider the 5 Splinterverse media titles shown below. We have Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, which is filled with dragon-themed items and subclasses and adventure hooks and all kinds of good stuff for players and DMs. And we got Feywild Compendium, which has tons of Feywild stuff with subclasses, monsters, encounters, complete adventures, VTT stuff, and magic items and spells. And we've got Van Richten's Labyrinth of Lineages, all about lineages, with 4 really cool brand new ones. Potions Unlocked, with tons of potions with beautiful art, and potion locations with fully stocked vendors and adventure opportunities in there as well, including some that work with Strixhaven because it has its own magic school and how to learn potion making and stuff as well. And we've got Secrets of the Draugr, a brand new race that combines the power of the Drow and the Duergar into its own unique race with deities, fortune telling, and some other fun things. So check it out. All of those are linked below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Thank you to all the great creators out there. Please keep creating fun stuff for me to enjoy each week with all of you. And until next time, happy adventuring.